Yeah, hi, Pete here from Your Minor Rare Plants. This is one of the amazing plants that over the many years this nursery has been running, which is in excess of 70 years. It was in the early 50s that my mother and father moved to Monbulk in the Dandenong Ranges and started Your Minor Rare Plants. And in that time, my father imported many plants and corresponded with some very famous plant people around the world. And we're lucky enough to collate an amazing collection of plants that we can largely offer to the public of Australian and gardeners. So I think this is the 46th year that I've been working since I started working with my father and then my brother. My brother's Don is retired now. In last I think 8 or 10 years. I'm sorry if I'm not quite accurate on that, but in that vicinity. And he's obviously got an amazing collection as well. And so my daughter's worked with me for 12 years and I'm still running the nursery 46 years on, and still passionate about plants, and this is certainly one of them. This isn't a plant that everyone can grow. It's a mountain plant or a cool climate plant. Certainly grow in the inner suburbs of Melbourne in woodland conditions with adequate water offered from irrigation in a hot dry summer like we've just had. But it's certainly not a plant that will tolerate hot, dry winds, any level of consistent dry. It won't like hot, extreme heat, dry, wind. Needs to be in either a woodland conditions in a slightly warmer environment, or alternatively up in the Dandenongs here, it will handle south or easterly aspect. Say up at Mount Dandenong, places where there's a little bit of altitude, or further out in East Gippsland, so forth, on a bit of cooler property, or up in a bit of altitude. You can take a little bit more sun, but certainly in most of these places you'd want a south or east aspect with protected from hot winds and from extreme heat from the summer blast. So keep that in mind when you're picking out a Katsura tree. Cercidiphyllum japonicum. This particular one is a clone. It's a weeping form, so a completely weeping tree, really. I mean, it will, as you can see, it's sort of the branches billow up and then billow down, making a big weeping majestic landscape plant. So this plant, I don't know, must be 7 or 8 meters high now. It's in a terrible location, jammed between my shed here at work at Your Minor Rare Plants and the shade house and our propagation facility. So it's not exactly in a favourable position as far as showing off its best aesthetic, but you can tell by the winter branches that it's quite charming even when it's dormant in habit. So it creates quite a dramatic effect in the landscape if you've got the adequate and correct conditions as per what I earlier explained. So it's often named as the caramel tree or candy floss tree, and there is good reasons for that. It has, in the autumn, as the autumn leaves become more and more ready to drop, it lets off this magnificent perfume, which is somewhat like caramel and caramel essence, and it's quite hard to describe, but caramel is the best way. It's certainly a caramel style perfume, and quite magnificent, and it just adds another layer to this magnificent plant, as well as its dramatic effect in the landscape because of its big arching weeping habit. And those side branches, they'll weep down for meters, but the plant will still gain height with time. The original species variety, the Cercidiphyllum japonicum, this is a selection, obviously a weeping selection of, but the native species form, which is just Cercidiphyllum japonicum, the Katsura tree, is a much more upright tree, pyramidal sort of habit. Both this and the species have more or less the same sort of heart-shaped leaves, nice beautiful green, little bit of rosy pinky colour in the new growth as well, which also adds another little layer of flavour to the drama of the plant. But the Cercidiphyllum japonicum, just the straight species from the wild, is native to China and Japan from cooler locations, not from hot and dry. Like I said, it's specifically from cooler, moister, arid regions, not from hot, dry regions. So it's an important factor to consider when you're planting one of these. In the wild, the Cercidiphyllum japonicum can reach anything up to 10 to 45 metres high, so they can get quite big trees, but they have to be in fairly favourable conditions to get obviously 35-45 metres high. In most southern Australian suburban gardens, or even in the Dandenongs, it would be a heck of an age for a plant and unlikely to achieve quite those dimensions. It's a delightful soft green foliage, round heart shaped, and just be cautious of where you plant one, but certainly a wonderful plant. And we've got these available most years. We graft this weeping form. The species form we grow from seed. They're available on our online shop. And just be aware that all these blogs are coming on our YouTube channel shortly, and that's slowly evolving as we get this more fine-tuned and organised. I've been putting a lot of the blogs obviously on Facebook and Instagram, over 17,000 of them of the whole range of plants we grow, and there is numerous plants in our collection. You can sort of see here just a rough broadsheet of some of the plants in the nursery, and then down the back of the nursery, obviously the non-shade, the more open area. There's a wide range of plants your mine has been importing for many years, and offer a wide palette of plants that would be suitable for any garden in Australia, really, except for the tropics. We've only got a small number of plants in our range that would be suitable in the tropics. We have to be aware here that we can get down to -5 outside, so the odd thing that I just can't help myself and I've got to grow a few, I put in the igloos where it's a bit protected, but most of the true tropical plants are not grown here. So that's the biggest group of plants that we don't encounter here. We also don't grow many of the truly general range of plants that obviously can get at any garden centre. We don't cross over into that too much if we can help it, because that's already catered for by plenty of other nurseries. So try out my Facebook and Instagram. There's a pile of information there that's to give you a much broader palette of information and ideas than is generally available on the sort of plants we grow. The online shop, obviously, you can purchase plants for online sales and delivery. You can pick plants up at the nursery here at 82 David Hill Road, Monbulk. We're open through the week from 9 till 4:30, or you can come up on the weekends 11 till 3. We also go to some of the plant fairs. We'll be at Carryong Plant Fair shortly in just near Gosford at the Carryong Mountains High School. I've been going there for, goodness, it must be 10 years or more. I don't know, it seems to have been going forever. And so I'm always on stall. I can answer your questions, and I also take a big range of plants. I don't tend to take big numbers of anything. I try to take a broad sheet of what we grow, just to give people a bit of a snapshot of what we're doing. If you specifically want plants brought to the plant fairs, I can do that for you. There is a 10% handling fee to do that, and you can pick the plants up off me on stall as long as it's been prepaid at the nursery before I leave. If you're interested in talking plants, if you need information about your garden, you can call me, and I'm happy to discuss with you initial details about any plant inquiries you have. If you want more specific information, I do go out on site, but that is obviously at a cost, an hourly cost, so it just depends on the how far I have to travel and so forth, how much it costs for me to go out and give advice to gardeners. So anyway, keep in touch, give us a ring on 03 9752 0035, that's 03 9752 0035 at the landline, or info@yaminarareplants.com.au, or simply just go online and check out our Facebook and Instagram. Or if you want to contact our online shop, you can send your queries in there, or ring the nursery and speak to Zeke or myself on the landline. So anyway, keep in touch, and don't be shy to ask questions if there's more information you need about any of our plants. Thank you.